On a cruise ship, casinos can legally operate with fewer restrictions than Vegas, which means the odds you're playing against might be worse than you think. And here's the part most people never realize. It's not just the games. It's the entire experience that's designed to keep you playing. From free drinks, to machine placement, to the timing of promotions. Everything is engineered. But once you understand how it works, you can stop losing blindly and start playing smart. And if you want more cruise secrets like this, make sure you subscribe, because what most passengers don't know can cost them the most. And wait until you see what happens on the last night. That's when they make the most money. 1. The illusion of easy wins. You sit down at a slot machine on your first night, just to try it out. A few spins in, and suddenly, you hit. Maybe it's $20, maybe $50, maybe even more. Not life-changing money, but enough to make you pause and think, okay, this might actually be worth it. And that's the moment the hook is set. Because what feels like luck often isn't random timing, it's psychology. Early wins create a powerful first impression. They lower your guard, build confidence, and convince you that you've found a good machine. People even start saying things like, this one's hot. But here's the truth. There's no such thing as a hot machine. Every spin is independent. The machine doesn't know you just won, and it doesn't owe you another win. What it does do, though, is keep you playing. That small early payout changes your mindset. You're no longer just trying the game, you're now chasing that feeling again. So you spin a little longer, and then a little longer after that. Before you realize it, that $50 win has quietly turned into $150 in losses. And the casino knows this. They don't need you to lose immediately, they need you to stay. Because the longer you play, the more the odds work against you. So that early win, it's not a victory, it's an invitation. And that's exactly what keeps people coming back. 2. Free drinks that cost you more. You're sitting at a machine, just getting into the rhythm of the game, when a server walks over and hands you a drink. No charge, no bill, just a smile and a simple question. Would you like another? It feels like a perk, like the casino is taking care of you. But that drink isn't free, not really. Because alcohol changes how you think. It lowers your inhibitions, makes risks feel smaller, and decisions feel easier. That hesitation you might have had about placing another bet, it fades. And then there's time. You tell yourself you'll play for 20 minutes, just a quick stop before dinner. But with a drink in your hand, music in the background, and lights flashing all around you, time starts to blur. One drink turns into 2. 20 minutes turns into an hour. Then suddenly, it's been 2 hours and you're still sitting there. Not because you planned to, but because the environment made it easy to stay. The casino understands this perfectly. A single drink costs them almost nothing. But if it keeps you playing longer, even just 1 extra hour, they've already made that money back many times over. And the longer you stay, the more likely you are to keep betting, chasing, and spending without thinking twice. So yes, the drinks keep coming. But they're not there to reward you. They're there to keep you exactly where you are. That free drink, it's doing exactly what it was designed to do. 3. The player card is watching you. At some point, you're handed a player card. Slide it into the machine, earn points, maybe get a few perks. It seems simple enough. Most people think it's just a reward system. Play more, get more. But behind the scenes, it's doing something much more important. It's tracking you. Every spin, every bet, every minute you spend playing, it's all being recorded. Not just for this cruise, but for future ones too. The casino is building a profile of your behavior. And here's the part most people don't realize. It's not based on whether you win or lose. It's based on something called your theoretical loss, or theo. In simple terms, theo is the amount the casino expects you to lose over time based on how you play. So if you're betting small amounts but playing for a long time, your theo can actually be higher than someone who loses a lot quickly and walks away. Which leads to a surprising truth. The casino doesn't care if you win. It cares how long you play. Because time is what generates profit. That's why someone who sits down every night, plays steadily, and stays consistent often gets better offers than someone who drops a large amount once and disappears. And this is where it gets interesting. All those future perks, the discounted cruises, the free cabins, the special offers, they're not random. They're calculated. And this data is what determines whether you get those free cruises. 4. The layout is manipulating you. Take a walk through a cruise ship casino, and at first glance, it all feels random. Machines everywhere, tables scattered across the floor, lights flashing in every direction. But nothing in that space is accidental. Every machine is placed exactly where it is for a reason. The ones closest to the entrance, the ones you see first, are often the most active. You'll hear sounds of small wins, see people cashing out, maybe even catch a glimpse of someone celebrating. It creates the impression that people are winning, that this is a place where luck happens, and that's what pulls you in. But as you move deeper into the casino, things change. The machines are quieter, more isolated, less visible. These are the ones people tend to sit at longer, and where losses can add up without much attention, because fewer eyes are watching. Even the placement near bars and walkways is intentional. High-traffic areas keep energy high. The more movement, the more noise, the more excitement, the easier it is to get caught up in the moment. And once you're sitting down, it becomes harder to walk away. The entire layout is designed to guide your behavior without you realizing it. Where you walk, where you stop, where you play, it's all influenced by the environment around you. So when you choose a machine, it might feel like your decision. But where you sit is not random. And this next one, almost nobody notices. 5. Timing changes everything. Most people don't think about when they play, but timing can completely change how you behave inside a casino. Walk in right after a big show lets out, and the place is packed. Lights flashing, music louder, people cheering, machines ringing. It feels electric. That energy is contagious. You see someone win, and suddenly it feels like you could be next. That's where emotional spending takes over. You're not thinking about odds anymore. You're reacting to the moment. Betting faster, staying longer, getting caught up in the excitement around you. And the casino knows this is when people are most impulsive. Now compare that to the quieter hours. Mid-afternoon or late at night, when most passengers have moved on. The same machines are there, the same games, but the atmosphere is completely different. Fewer distractions, less noise, less pressure, and that changes how you play. You think more clearly. You notice how long you've been sitting there. You're more aware of your spending, your decisions, your limits. Loud environments push you to react. Quiet environments give you space to think. That's the real difference. Because the casino doesn't just rely on the games, it relies on the atmosphere. The busier it gets, the easier it is to lose track of time, money, and control. So if you ever feel like the casino is pulling you in, it might not be the machine. It might be the moment. 6. Slots versus table games. The hidden gap. At first glance, all casino games seem equal. A spin is a spin, a bet is a bet. But there's a hidden gap between slots and table games that most people never notice. Slots are built for speed. You press a button, the reels spin, and within seconds, you're placing another bet. There's no pause, no break, no time to think. It's fast, continuous, and almost effortless. And that speed is exactly how the casino wins. Because the more bets you place in a shorter amount of time, the faster the odds start working against you. Even small losses add up quickly when the game never slows down. Now compare that to table games. Blackjack, for example, has a natural rhythm. Cards are dealt, decisions are made, hands are played. It takes time. The pace is slower, more deliberate. And that changes everything. You're not just pressing a button, you're actively involved. You have moments to think, to pause, to step back if you need to. Your money lasts longer, and your experience feels more controlled. Slots are designed to keep you moving. Table games give you room to breathe. And over time, that difference becomes significant. Because it's not just about how much you bet. It's how often you bet. Slots are built for speed, and speed is how the casino wins. 7. The free cruise trap. At some point, you might hear about it, or even receive one yourself. A free cruise offer just for playing in the casino. It sounds like a win, a reward, a bonus for time well spent. But there's more to it than that. Because that cruise isn't really free. There are still port fees, taxes, gratuities, and more importantly, an expectation. The casino isn't just giving you a vacation out of generosity. It's making an investment in bringing you back. They know that once you're on board again, you're likely to return to the same place you spent time before, the casino floor. The same lights, the same machines, the same habits. And this time, you're not starting from scratch. You already feel familiar with it, comfortable, maybe even confident. That's what makes it effective. The offer creates a cycle. You play, you earn, you come back, and you play again. Over time, it builds loyalty, not just to the cruise line, but to the experience itself. And from the casino's perspective, that's exactly the goal. Because a returning player is far more valuable than a new one. So while it may feel like a reward, it's actually part of a much bigger strategy. They're not just giving you something for free. They're setting the stage for what happens next. They're not rewarding you. They're reinvesting in you. Quick question, be honest. Have you ever actually left a cruise casino with more money than you started with? Or does it always seem like, somehow, the casino comes out ahead in the end? Drop your experience in the comments. I read every one. 8. Casino hosts hold the real power. Most people never think twice about the people behind the casino, but there's one role that quietly controls a lot more than you'd expect. The casino host. They're not dealing cards. They're not running machines. But they're watching, paying attention to who plays, how often, and how consistent they are. And unlike the system, they have discretion. That's the difference. The system gives you points. The host gives you perks. Points are automatic. You play, you earn, and eventually you might get an offer. But hosts can go beyond that. They can comp meals, send drinks your way, offer onboard credit, or even unlock experiences that aren't advertised anywhere. And it doesn't always go to the biggest spender. Hosts tend to favor players they recognize. The ones who show up regularly, who are easy to talk to, who enjoy the experience without causing problems. Because from their perspective, it's not just about money, it's about relationships. That's what most people miss. They assume everything is handled by a computer, that whatever they earn is fixed. But in reality, there's a human layer sitting on top of that system, quietly making decisions. And if you're completely invisible, you're relying entirely on the minimum. But if you're visible, consistent, and approachable, you start to unlock opportunities most passengers never even realize exist. Because in the end, the system tracks you, but the host decides how far those rewards can go. 9. Consistency beats big spending. It's easy to assume that the biggest spenders get the best rewards. The ones dropping large amounts of money in a single session, they must be the most valuable players, right? Not necessarily. Because the casino isn't just looking at how much you lose in one moment. It's looking at how you behave over time. A player who walks in, spends $500 in 30 minutes, and disappears for the rest of the cruise doesn't give the casino much to work with. There's no pattern, no consistency, no long-term value. Now compare that to someone betting $5 at a time, showing up every night, playing for an hour or two. On the surface, it seems smaller. But over time, it adds up. More sessions, more tracked activity, more predictable behavior. And that's exactly what the casino prefers. Because consistency is easier to measure and easier to reward. It signals something important. You're likely to come back. That's why steady players often receive better offers than people who spend big once and vanish. Not because they're losing more in a single moment, but because they're building a profile the casino can rely on. And that leads to a surprising truth. The guy losing $500 once is less valuable than the one playing $5 every night. It's not about the size of the loss. It's about the pattern behind it. Because in the long run, predictable players are the ones casinos invest in the most. 10. The last night push. As the cruise comes to an end, something shifts in the casino. The atmosphere changes. The announcements get louder, the promotions ramp up, and suddenly there's a sense that now is the time to play. This is when the casino makes its final move. You'll see raffles, bonus point offers, tournaments, and last chance giveaways. It creates urgency, the feeling that if you don't take advantage now, you'll miss out. And that's exactly the point. Because by the last night, most passengers still have something left. A little cash, maybe some onboard credit, maybe just the feeling that they want one more shot before the trip ends. So they go back, just one more time. But here's what doesn't change. The odds. No matter how many promotions are running, no matter how exciting it feels, the games are still built the same way. The house edge is still there, working quietly in the background. If anything, this final surge is one of the most profitable moments for the casino. More people playing, more urgency, more emotional decisions. And that's why it works so well. Because it doesn't feel like pressure, it feels like opportunity. But remember what was said at the beginning. This is where they make the most money. How to actually win. At some point, the definition of winning has to change. Because if the goal is to beat the casino at its own game, that's a losing strategy. The odds are designed for the house to come out ahead over time. That part doesn't change. But what can change is how you approach it. Instead of chasing jackpots, The smarter move is to focus on value. The perks, the comps, the extras that come from consistent, controlled play. Things like meals, drinks, onboard credit, even future cruise offers. Those aren't based on luck. They're based on how you play the system. That means setting limits, playing strategically, and understanding what actually gets rewarded. Not big wins, but steady behavior. Because in the end, the goal isn't to walk away with a jackpot. It's to walk away having gotten more out of the experience than you put in. The real winners aren't chasing jackpots. They're playing the system. At the end of the day, the cruise casino is designed to win. But now, you see the system. You see the psychology. And that alone puts you ahead of most passengers on board. Because the people who lose the most are the ones who don't realize they're being played. Now I want to hear from you. What's the craziest thing you've seen in a cruise casino? And if you want to cruise smarter and avoid the biggest mistakes most passengers make, check out the next video on screen right now. And don't forget to subscribe, so you don't miss the next set of cruise secrets most people never find out.